What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord Dr. Professor Dark Joker with this week's video. And this week will be a show that I call Fiction Fight Night, where I go over who would win between different fictional characters. And this week it will be Artemis Fowl from the Artemis Fowl book series. Don't watch that terrible movie. Versus Ciel Phantomhive from Black Butler, a very good anime and manga. So yeah, I'm just go over some stuff about the characters and explain why I think one character will beat the other. So with all that being said, I'll went to video. So starting off, we'll go over Artemis Fowl II. So he is the heir to the Fowl family fortune, with his father, Artemis Fowl I, being, the head of the family right now. And he was born September 1st, 1984, in Dublin, Ireland. He's a former criminal mastermind who abducted the LEP, or aka Lower Elements Police, recon captain Holly Short, and held her for ransom for gold. LEP recon being within the lore of the Artemis Fowl series, LEP recon is where the term leprechaun comes from within the lore of the series. Now, in the time since he kidnapped Holly, he's become a friend of the people, which is the kind of more official phrase for fairies. Now, then, during the events of Lost Collie, due to some weird like time travel stuff, like due to how that a lot of the travel stuff works, caused some mixing of genes and all that, he kind of became a human fairy hybrid, gained some magical abilities by like him basically he kind of got some of Holly's DNA in him. So like they kind of like switched eyes. Yeah, it's a whole weird thing. And then after his death in Last Guardian, he was cloned. So his spirit, which had lived on because like of his insane like will, like his just his like human will, like he was cloned and put into it and his spirit was put into that body. Now there were some memory issues with that. And now Artemis is one of the most intelligent humans on Earth, if not the most intelligent. Like like his age group, he's definitely like he's probably the smartest. Like there's there's not many people who could say their intelligence can compare to Artemis. Very few. Only one who can in his age group is his ex. Yeah, yeah, Minerva. Um, like the yeah yeah Minerva. Paradiso. Yeah, who yeah, which they met in Lost Colony, which is a great book. And so yeah, basically she's like the only person around Artemis's age whose intelligence can really compare to Artemis's. Anyway, that don't matter. So Artemis was infected with the Atlantis complex, which gave him an alternate personality named Orion that, unlike Artemis himself, actually has good hand-eye coordination and athleticism. Arms is kind of annoyed with Orion for that, and Orion is like he's like so Orion does not understand the difference between within the books. Artemis does not know that Orion does not know the difference between real magic and fictional magic. Now, by real magic, I'm just talking about within the books. I'm not talking about real life, but what's like real within the books. So like, and also Orion uh is very much into Holly Short. A lot of that's due to Artemis's feelings of guilt due to like, kidnapping Holly and all the stuff that's happened to her due to like some of his actions, due to like their association, their friendship. Now, could Artemis also have had some feelings for Holly at some point? Probably, but I'm not getting into that discussion. I am not gonna get into that though. I'm not getting into that discussion. And so Artemis's butler is Domovoy Butler. Now he's mostly just known as Butler because all the men they're just so in the Butler family, all the men are just called Butler. And within the books, that's where the term Butler comes from, is that family's name. But like generally, the male butlers, their first names are not known to their charges. And when they do become known, it's only when they're about to die. So Butler's first name is not revealed to the third book when basically he knows he's about to die. Now, anyway, Steve, gosh, that's a good book. Like, and Artemis knew what it meant when Butler gave him his first name. Artemis knew what it meant. And so the whole third book part is about like trying to save Butler. And there was a possibility of Butler like leaving Artemis because he knows his first name. And due to him being, when he's like frozen, some crowd jinx and like given some healing magic, how he's brought back, how he's like kind of like resurrected. There's a lot of stuff. Anyway, so yeah. Ciel Phantomhive. So Ciel is the main character of the Black Butler manga and anime. And so he was born December 14th, 1875, during the Victorian era of England. So he is the current, well, okay, he's not necessarily as far as the anime is concerned, he is the current Earl of House Phantom Hive. Now in the manga, he has been kind of deposed to that due to like his twin brother. Anyway, so Seal is not his real first name. Now, as far as I'm aware, the manga has not revealed what his real name is. There are some theories about that. So he technically is the real Seal. He is the real Seal Phantom Hive's twin brother. Now we don't know what Seal's real name is, but when the real Seal died, so basically, so their parent, so the Phantom Hive twins, like their parents were murdered by this devil worshipping cult who kidnapped the Phantom Hive twins, violated them, and basically, so the real Seal was murdered and sacrificed for the purpose of summoning a demon. Now, instead of listening to the cult, the demon decided to listen to the surviving twins' pleas, and the surviving twin told Sebastian to kill the cult members. Which the demon did, and then basically the demon who Seal named Sebastian Mikolas after a dog, which the demon was not happy about. Now demon his human parents end up looking like Seal's father. So the twin took the identity of his dead brother, Ciel Phantomhive, and became the Earl. And also which also made him the fiance of Elizabeth, but that's a whole other thing, which leads to some humor. So so basically Seal's goal is to avenge the death of his brother and parents. Because it seems like there's some members of the cult that are still around. Seems to be some people connected to the cult who are not dead, who may have been involved with the death. So like Undertaker could be involved, or at least knows who's involved. Given the plot points in the filler so like Soul Eater and Blue Exorcist, Black Butler had some filler episodes really early on that like kind of like gave an ending where Seal had accomplished his goal and killing everyone who like was involved with the death of his parents. Now, and the Queen was one of them. So we don't know. So it is possible that is that plot point could be involved. Because the queen in the manga is a little crazy. very obsessed with like her dead husband, and there's a lot of stuff. So there's a possibility that the queen did have the Phantom Hives murdered. Now it's not revealed yet, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Basically, there's people still out there who were involved in Phantom Hive's deaths, and we don't, and they just haven't been killed yet. So that's why Seal's soul has not been taken by Sebastian. Because basically, once all the killers are gone, Sebastian's taking Seal's soul. Like that's like guaranteed. So, well, unless something happens like what happened in the season 2 stuff, like season 2, which was all filler. Unless something like that happens, Sebastian is eating Seal's soul. So anyway, so basically, so Sebastian serves as butler, and so Seal, as the Earl of House Phantomhive, serves as the watchdog of Queen Victoria of England. Basically, like for like he's basically there to like serve as like kind of like a black ops like type cop. So like solve crimes in England and in one at least one occasion outside the UK because you had so the the witches forest arc, the Emerald Witch arc, basically they had to go Seal had to go to Germany, which gives some hints towards some of the lead up into World War I because you had mustard gas and all that, sarin gas, all that. Now, Seal does know how to use a gun. Given his job as the Queen's watchdog, he kind of has to. Now, neither he nor Artemis are very, they don't do a lot of hand-to-hand combat. But Seal does know how to use a gun. And so, yeah, so, do his job as Queen. One way he solves a bunch of various crimes that some of them do involve some supernatural stuff, like, zombies and all that, with his brother now being one of the zombies. Like a very aware zombie, like a very like self-aware zombie. Basically, yeah. So, or like dolls, as Undertaker calls them, because Undertaker is one who creates these zombies. But yeah, so basically, Seal's the one who actually, in their base for knows how to fight. Now I'm gonna go over into like who actually wins this fight. So one important distinctions in this fight is that no butlers are involved. So Butler and Sebastian are staying out. So like Seal can't like summon Sebastian and have him like kill Artemis, and Butler's not gonna help. Now Sebastian probably would beat Butler probably in the fight, but that's a whole other thing. So no butlers are involved. So as far as Artemis goes, he could use his Orion personality to beat up Seal, and he has survived more dangerous characters than Seal, but his survival was with the help of very capable fighters. So like where it's Butler, Holly, Juliet, Root, Mulch, you know, Trouble. Basically Artemis has always had help when he has like basically when due to his survival, a lot of it has been to do to like, because if he was by himself like the entire time, he would be dead because he is not athletic at all. Like in his base personality, which I don't think the Orion personality has come back since the Atlantis complex, but we're assuming like peak like fighting ability, which would be when he has the Atlantis complex. So because of the Orion personality, because that's the only chance he has. But so now, as far as Seal's concerned, if Artemis is not the Orion personality when the fight begins, Seal would be able to shoot and subdue Artemis before he could switch personalities. Because if Artemis is Artemis' personality with no help, Seal wins. He would shoot. He would be able to shoot Artemis and subdue him, possibly kill him. Before like Artemis would be able to switch personalities. Now, given Artemis's very high intelligence, he would take all this into account. Seal is not his intelligence. Seal is a smart. He is intelligent. He's not Artemis intelligent. He is not. Artemis would have thought about all this beforehand, and he basically would switch into. He would have already have himself switched into the Orion personality before the fight begins. So yeah, so he would already think of that ahead of time. He would switch to the Orion personality before the fight begins, or yeah, or at the latest right as it starts, like before Seal is able to like get his gun out or anything. And Artemis would as Orion. So Orion would use his athletic ability, use his marksmanship, and defeat Seal. So it's very close, but due to Artemis's intelligence, Artemis would have himself switch to Orion basically by the time the fight begins, or basically a second or two after like the fight begins, just so he's in the Orion personality. And Orion, despite some of his delusions and all that, Orion's Orion personality would give Artemis the win over Seal. And that's it. Did y'all like this video? Do you agree that Artemis would win? Do you think Seal would win? And do you have other fights you think you would want to see in Fiction Fight Night? Did you like this video? Did you dislike? Put all that stuff in the comments. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And look forward to the next video.